best practices. In return, the Italian capital to observe Roman's award-winning youth academy. As technical advisors in player development, Roman will work with the NFF to help introduce best practices for developing elite talents in order to improve the quality of players available in domestic clubs and, indeed, national squad at all age groups. On hand at the unveiling ceremony were NFF President Amaju Pinnick and his Vice President Sheyi Akinwumi and Shehu Diko, alongside the entire board members of the NFF. AS Roman's head of academy, Massimo Tarantino, and Paul Rogers, head of strategy at Roma. Nigeria's Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Sunday Dare, and the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Mr. Olushade, were on hand to also endorse the partnership. Nigeria international Henry Onyekuru will be targeting his third start for his French League One side, Monaco, when they take on home side Reims tonight at the Stade Auguste Dallon in Reims. Onyekuru has stated 2 out of 3 games he has played since joining Monaco at the start of the season, with the former Anderlecht striker still looking for his debut goal for the League One side. The 22-year-old was in the starting lineup for Monaco 0 away loss to meet playing for 70 minutes and also started in the 2-2 home draw against Nice, in which he was in action for 74 minutes. Onyekuru played a camera role in the 2-2 draw away to Strabix, coming on as an 89th minute substitute when Monaco lost 3-4 at home to Marseille. Monaco are yet to win any game going into the round 6 fixtures, which has left them second in the last on the league table on only 2 points. Aisha Balarabe, Nigeria's most famous female basketballer, wants to compete at the Olympic Games next summer before she calls time on her illustrious 17 years professional career. The 33-year-old has helped Nigeria to 4 International Basketball Federation FIBA titles in 2003, 2005, 2017 and 2019. Balarabe got married in January and wants to start a family, but not before one final shot at Tokyo 2020 if a country qualifies. Balarabe, who stands at 6 feet 4 inches, made a debut for Nigeria back in 2002 and helped them reach their first ever Olympic basketball tournament at Athens in 2004. Nigeria must go through the Africa pre-qualifying tournament for Tokyo 2020 after the previous practices of continental champions reaching Olympics automatically was scrapped. They will play in a 6-team competition with Senegal, Mali, Mozambique, Angola and Democratic Republic of Congo, the top 6 finishers at the 2019 Women's Afro Basket. 2 sides from this event will reach the final qualifying tournament for the Olympics next summer. And now to business news. The World Bank has advised Nigeria to scale up its social investment programs to address the large number of people living in extreme poverty in the country. The World Bank Country Director, Mr. Richard Ben Mesot, stated this on Friday at the launch of the Africa Social Safety Nets report by the National Social Nets Coordinator Office, NASCO, and World Bank. Ben Mesot said that Nigeria spending less than 3% of its gross domestic product, GDP, on social investment was not enough to fight against poverty, build human capital, and spur economic growth. He said the bank was in full support of the country's social investments, and that was why it helped to establish a social registry containing legitimate names of poor households in parts of the country. He said the registry had helped the federal and state governments to reach genuine vulnerable people through different targeted intervention programs like the conditional cash transfer. Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, disagreed with the social safety net report, saying that Nigeria spends more than 3.3% of GDP on social investment. Mrs. Ahmed said the report did not take account of other social protection programs like pensions, health insurance, and interventions that target people living with disabilities. She noted that Nigeria will continue to work towards a long-term solution to poverty, long-term plan to build human capital, and focus on a universal health coverage for all, as well as scale up its school lunch program for all primary school pupils. And from far Malta has ordered an independent inquiry into the killing of prominent investigative journalist Kavana Galizia, days before the expiry of a deadline by Europe's main human rights watchdog. Kavana Galizia, who wrote a popular anti-corruption blog, was killed by a powerful car bomb blast outside a home on October 16, 2017. The Maltese government said Prime Minister Joseph Muscat appointed retired Judge Michael Malia to preside over the inquiry. He would be assisted by a law professor and a retired forensic expert. The government said that the independent review must not prejudice the active criminal investigation. It added that the inquiry should conclude its work within 9 months. Thousands of pro-democracy protesters marched in cities across Egypt, demanding the resignation of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Videos posted on social media showed demonstrators chanting that el-Sisi must go. Protests were reported in the capital, Cairo, the second biggest city of Alexandria and Suez. Officials in civilian uniforms confronted the demonstrators who tried approaching Cairo's Tahrir Square, where mass protests started in 2011, which toppled Hosni Mubarak. Now for weather outlook in the coming week. The residents of Warri and its environs should expect rain all through the coming week. There will be thunder showers accompanied by a gentle breeze on Sunday, with maximum temperature rising to 30 degrees centigrade. There will be light rain showers on Tuesday, but on Wednesday there will be thundering showers with maximum temperature of 23 degrees centigrade. And with that weather report, we've come to the conclusion of our news bulletin. But before we go, a reminder of two of our major stories. The member representing Okwe, Saple and Uwe Federal constituent interview with correspondents at Efron, Uwe local government area. The Central Bank of Nigeria says the nationwide implementation of the cashless policy will begin by March 31, 2020. It was contained in the Apex Bank's last circular to all deposit money banks in the country, as the implementation of the policy would signal the imposition of charges on deposit in addition to already existing charges on withdrawals. And that's the news. Thank you for watching. Good evening.
people of Delta State, let us join hands with the state government to say no to human trafficking. Beware of persons offering jobs and education to our children and youths outside the country. These people deceive our children, sell them as sex slaves, and use their vital organs for transplants. That is why His Excellency, the Governor, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, has set up the State Task Force on Human Trafficking and Illegal Migration to curb this menace. Report any suspicious activities of human trafficking to the State Task Force on 0806-032-5910, 0815-557-5495, or NACTIC on 0802-294-0088. Let us join hands to make Delta State trafficking free. This message was brought to you by Peter Mrakbo, the Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice and Chairman, Delta State Task Force on Human Trafficking and Illegal Migration.
ShopRite's extra big birthday is now